3 hours from now, a 20-year-old girl from the Philippines is going to walk onto the most prestigious red clay court in Italy, look across the net at the reigning Australian Open champion, and refuse to blink. And before you scroll away, let me ask you something. When was the last time you watched a match where the underdog actually had a real, statistical, mathematical chance of winning? Because this is not a feel-good story. This is a calculated breakdown of why Alexandra Eala might be the most dangerous player Elena Rybakina has faced all season on clay, and nobody is talking about it. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you watch this match today. Let's set the scene first. The Foro Italico in Rome. The Italian Open, one of the most beautiful and brutal clay court events on the entire WTA calendar. Round of 32. May 10th, 2026. World number 42 versus world number 2. A 20-year-old Filipina left-hander trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy since she was 12 years old, facing a 6-foot Kazakh biomechanical weapon who hits her serve at over 120 miles per hour and has just demolished Maria Sakkari 6-4. 6-1 like Sakkari wasn't even there. On paper, this is a mismatch. On paper, this is a routine win for the Kazakh. But here's the thing about paper: clay doesn't care about paper. Here is the number that should stop you cold. Alexandra Eala's record against top 10 opposition this season is 4 wins and 3 losses. Let that land. A player ranked outside the top 40 has beaten elite top 10 opponents more than half the time she has faced them. 4 different players, 3 different surfaces. Madison Keys, Iga Swiatek, Jasmine Paolini, Coco Gauff. These are not soft top 10 players either. These are former Grand Slam champions and world number 1s. And Eala walked through all 4 of them. So the question isn't whether she can beat someone of this level. She has already proven she can. The real question is whether this clay court, this momentum, and this moment finally become the perfect storm that produces the biggest win of her career. Now, I want to walk you through exactly how she got here, because the path to this moment is not luck. In her first match at this Italian Open, Eala faced Magdalena Frech, a battle-hardened Polish baseliner who knows how to grind on clay. Eala baggled her in the first set, absorbed Frech's counterattack in the second, and then closed the third set 6-4 with a 68% second serve win rate. That second serve win rate is the detail that matters most. That is the detail that tells you this is not the same Eala who struggled on clay earlier this season in Stuttgart and Madrid. That number signals a structurally better player. Then in round 2, she played Wang Xinyu and destroyed her 6-4, 6-3. She broke a world-class player's serve 7 times. She committed 0 double faults. She recovered from 0-30 down in the opening set without flinching. She became the first Filipino player in the Open era to reach the 3rd round of the Italian Open. And now she gets the biggest test of the whole swing, possibly the biggest test of her entire career so far. But here is where I need you to pay very close attention, because this is the part of the breakdown most analysts are completely ignoring. Clay does not naturally suit Elena Rybakina. And I am not saying that to disrespect her. She is world number 2 and an Australian Open champion. She is phenomenal. But her game is built on first strike tennis. Massive flat serve, crushing flat forehand, short points. The faster the surface, the more lethal she becomes. On a grass court or a fast hard court, her ground strokes cut through the air like laser beams. But clay slows everything down. Clay extends rallies. Clay blunts a 120-mile-per-hour serve by around 10%. And that 10% is exactly the window Eala needs to get her racket on first serves she normally wouldn't even touch. Once the rally starts, once the point extends past 5 or 6 shots, the entire dynamic of this match tilts. Think about what Eala's forehand actually does on clay. She hits a heavy, Nadal-style left-handed topspin forehand crosscourt that kicks violently upward off the surface. When that ball bounces toward Rybakina's shoulder instead of sitting comfortably at her waist, it completely disrupts her kinetic chain. It forces her to hit defensive, awkward shots from a position she is not accustomed to. It turns the world number 2 into a reactive player instead of an aggressive one. And the longer that pattern repeats, the more the match becomes a grueling baseline construction battle, which is theoretically Eala's greatest strength after 8 years of training under the most celebrated clay court coaching infrastructure in the world. Now let me ask you something, and I genuinely want you to answer this in the comments below. Do you think Rybakina's first serve percentage stays above 65% on this clay court today? Because her second serve is historically where she gets hurt on slow surfaces. She hovers in the high 40s to low 50s in second serve points won on clay. And Eala's return game has won 36.7% of return games across 2026. That is an elite level number. Every single Rybakina second serve today is a prime opportunity. If Eala can break that serve even twice across 2 sets, this match stops being a power demonstration and becomes exactly the kind of tactical war that the girl from the Natal Academy was built to win. Now let's talk about the psychological dimension, because this is where the matchup gets almost unfair in Eala's favor. She walks onto that court with absolutely nothing to lose. The bookmakers have already priced this as a comfortable Rybakina victory. The media expects a straight sets result. Nobody outside the Philippines believes this is competitive, and that complete absence of expectation, that is one of the most powerful forces in sport. She plays freely. She plays loose. She plays with the same fearless aggression that has already produced 4 top 10 upsets this season. Meanwhile, Rybakina carries the full weight of being the overwhelming favorite. A loss to an unseeded player ranked 40 spots below her, on clay, 3 weeks before Roland Garros, that generates uncomfortable headlines. That plants seeds of doubt about her clay court credentials at the worst possible time of the calendar year. The psychological pressure in this match sits almost entirely on the world number 2's shoulders, not the underdogs. And then there is the army. If you haven't been watching the Italian Open closely this week, you need to know what has been happening in the stands. Filipino flags everywhere. Tagalog chants audible on broadcast microphones. The crowd has been loud, emotional, and completely one-directional every single time Eala has stepped onto a court this week. In a long, suffocating clay court rally where both players are gasping and the legs are burning and the moment could break either way, the player who hears that kind of noise channeling through the stadium walls finds something extra. That extra step, that extra swing, that belief arriving from the outside when everything inside is screaming to stop. Rybakina has never faced the Eala army at full deployment on a slow clay surface. That experience is simply not in her muscle memory yet. Here is what happens if Eala wins today. She advances to the round of 16 at a WTA 1000 clay event for the first time in her career. She jumps in the rankings. Her seeding picture for Roland Garros, which begins in less than 3 weeks, changes dramatically. She sends a signal to every player in that locker room that the clay court version of Alexandra Eala is no longer a question mark. She answers every critic who said Miami was a fluke and Stuttgart was a problem, and Madrid was a warning sign. She answers all of it in one afternoon on the most famous clay in Italy. And even if she loses, even if Rybakina is simply too powerful today, she still walks away from Rome with 3 wins at a WTA 1000, the revenge win over Wang she needed after Auckland, and the kind of momentum that builds careers. There is genuinely no losing outcome from today. There's only the question of how high the ceiling gets, but I don't think she loses. Every clay court generation produces a defining underdog moment that nobody saw coming until it was already happening. In 2017, Jelena Ostapenko walked into Roland Garros as a 19-year-old and won the whole tournament. In 2021, Leylah Fernandez walked into the US Open and reached the final by beating the best players in the world 1 by 1. These moments emerge from matches that the establishment dismissed as routine. The conditions today are almost perfectly aligned for another one of those moments. The surface is slow. The matchup is dangerous. The form is ascending. The army is deployed. And the player has already proven 4 separate times this season that the biggest names in women's tennis are not safe when she is on the other side of the net. Eala walks into center court today with the right tools, a heavy left-handed forehand that will make Rybakina's life genuinely uncomfortable on the surface. She walks in with the right preparation, 8 years at the Natal Academy, 2 clay court wins already banked in Rome this week. She walks in with the right mentality, 0 pressure, complete freedom, and a track record of performing against elite opposition that nobody gave her credit for building. The court is red. The stakes are real. The moment is now. 3 o'clock at the Foro Italico. The wall is standing. The hammer is coming. And Alexandra Eala has arrived at exactly the right place at exactly the right time in her career. Drop a Philippine flag in the comments if you are watching this match today. And tell me, first to break serve wins this match. Who do you think breaks first? Let's talk about it right now.